Why leave now? And what's next for the next 5 years? Or is it just a day at a time for you?
Really, I felt like I'd given my best stuff to Onnit, and there was a team that was more capable of running it at this point, than me. And I'm fortunate enough, our CEO is someone I've worked with at Onnit for 6 years, so I didn't have to go out and hire somebody else. He came in 2014, and he's just a phenomenal human who's heart first, but I've never met anybody who's more diligent and works harder. And he used to run like the top hotel in Wisconsin. And so he's used to that kind of customer service kind of first idea of like really serving people and really solving any of the problems with a lot of heart. And that's just the way he does it. And so he was the clear choice to replace me because, not only does he have the skills running all of these different aspects of a hotel business, and then he can hire the people with the supplement experience and all of the different regulatory experience. And we have a great team for that. And he can hire all the other people, but he leads with his heart. And so knowing that I had him and knowing that he was going to put in that 12, 14 hours a day necessary as a CEO, and I wasn't. I'm doing my podcast. I'm doing, I have this amazing mastermind, which has been one of the most fulfilling things I've ever done. I have the books that I'm writing. And I really was called more to that. And of course, I love the product development and I love the relationships, and I'm going to continue doing that. But just handing the keys officially over to him was, one of the best decisions. And the company's been thriving since. And I think it's nice to have a CEO who is that guy that's going to show up earlier than everybody and leave later. Now, of course, with COVID, we're at limited staff in the office anyways, but he's still there. Like I know when I go there into my office to podcast, I go to work out, I can pop in and I'm going to see him, because he's just always on the game. And that's what this company deserves. And I wasn't able to offer that to them. So it was better for me to step out. And as I said, writing, podcasting, and then this mastermind, which started as a mastermind, but it's now, I call it the fellowship, has been something that's really kind of changed my ideas about another thing that I want to offer. So I think one of the things we're all missing is this sense of community, a sense of tribe. We all used to be in bands of under 150 people. They call that the Dunbar number. It's about the maximum amount of people we can truly give a fuck about. And that's what tribes organized around, is this 150 people or less. And so that's where we put the cap on the fellowship, and we have an application process, and we kind of view people and see, if they're ready to join, just a true fellowship where you're able to sacrifice some of your own personal, grievances and just open up and hold a container of just love and support for everybody and just allow that reciprocity to flow. And we don't do psychedelics together, but we'll do as much as we can on the transformational side. So like heavy Stan Groff-esque shamanic breathing, we'll do the ecstatic dance workouts, ecstatic dance routines. We'll do the Temescal, like sweat lodges, and all of the different transformational practices that are really bonding this group together. And it's just been rad. We call it the Fit for Service Fellowship because it's training us to all become more fit for service. But it feels like a little mini Camelot, where we're bringing in outside coaches and musicians, but we have our crew, and then everybody's just sitting at this giant round table. And it's just this massive group of people that are just down, just absolutely there for each other. And I think this is just one group, but I think it's a model. It's like the blueprint, it's like the beta test for one thing that I think is hugely missing in our society, which is that feeling that you have a crew that has gone through some shit with you, and that's one of the reasons that plant medicine ceremonies are so great. You get so close to people because you've puked in buckets with each other and gone through and cried in front of each other and gone through all of these processes. But to really feel like you have a tribe, I think is something that we'll all need to kind of reform and rearrange for the human being to actually feel like it has a sense of belonging and knows and is grounded into this kind of wild modern world. Because otherwise we'll attach to all of the dark impulses of tribalism, which is like, these are my people and I hate everybody else. It's like my people versus your people. And that's getting smaller and smaller, and all the identity politics and everything else that's coming along with that. It's all, I think, in my opinion, caused from the absence of a true tribe, where you have your people that you've gone through all of these different transformations with. And it's not that you hate everybody else besides your people, but it's just that you know that you belong to something, that you have people who see you and can hold up that mirror. If you're being crazy, they can be like, hey man, you all right? Like, what's going on? You seem really angry. You know, like you have somebody who'll check you because everybody's on even footing. And so that's another thing that, you know, along with psychedelic medicine, which actually facilitates that, I really want to encourage people to find that crew, find that clan that you can go. Like I took a trip out to see Wim Hof out in Poland with a group of people, and we were doing cold plunges and climbing mountains with our shirts off and doing the breathing work. And after that, I mean, I'm as close with those guys as anybody, just from like 5 days of consistent, like rites of passage, bonds a group together. Like we know we have each other. Everybody in that group at a certain point broke down and cried about something that came up in the breath work or some challenge they had. You know, one of the guys who's jumping into a frozen waterfall couldn't even swim. So we had to be there. We're like, we got you. Like, jump in this thing. You won't drown. Like, we're there. You know, like all of these experiences that just change somebody's life. And, you know, I think that's the other missing piece. Like when we really feel like we belong to a tribe and we have the tools to expand our hearts and our minds to what's possible, we're looking at a whole different fucking world.